Hey gang, so the age-old question, are Glocks perfect or not?
Nah. I love Glocks, but nah.
Stock Glocks, not perfect. Modified Glocks, perfect-ish. So let's talk about that. So we have a stock or stock-ish Glock here in the Glock 45, right? Where we have a stock, basically all components, frame, slide, barrel, trigger, all that stuff. The only thing that Brendan did to this firearm was mount the red dot and weapon mounted light. Otherwise, this is a stock Glock 45. So tell me, what about this stock? Like, why is it not perfect?
It's definitely not, well, it's workable, right? That's the thing.
It
right?
will work.
It will work.
Yes.
So if you hand this to military, law enforcement, a regular CCW holder, they'll fine, you can train to it. But as you get into shooting, right, you start noticing that there's certain things that you want to modify to make the gun a little bit better, right? To always strive for that perfection, I guess. And the Achilles heel, two Achilles heel of the, actually three Achilles heel of the guns that are, the
Run out
Glock.
of legs, dude.
Right, the Glocks that you can buy in California is one, the inability to mount a red dot, right? Gen 3 Glocks don't have an MOS adapter like this one. Second is the grip, right? They suck on the Gen 3, depending on your hands, by the way. Some people, I guess, like it.
Well, they have the old school surface and the finger grooves on there, and a lot of people don't really particularly like the finger grooves because it puts their fingers in a place where the undercut of the trigger guard is just smashing their middle finger.
And then lastly, the trigger, right, which we're going to talk about is modified Glock. The trigger on this one leaves a lot to be desired. It's very mushy, and it's not caused by, especially the Gen 5, it's still kind of upgraded, but it's still not there, right? Like aftermarket triggers. So grips, triggers, and then the lack of ability to mount a red dot on a standard, Glock slide.
Yeah. So
those are the two things that typical people modify.
Yeah. Now, the thing is about it, as kind of Brendan alluded to, is that if you buy a stock Glock, whether it be Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5, right, out of the box, it's going to work, right? You put rounds in it, it's going to work. You clean it once in a while, it's going to work, right? Yeah. But it's not much to it. It's nothing fancy, nothing to write home about. Once you get preferences, you're going to notice that it's okay, all right? So let's go into the modified. Now, before I even go into this, there is a reason, there is something to be said as to why Glocks have the most aftermarket support for all their firearms. You can buy any aftermarket part for a Glock because there's so much aftermarket support for it. And there's a reason for it. Now, granted, obviously money involved, but there's something to be said about it because I think a lot of people and companies know that there's a desire for modifications for the Glock because of what we just talked about. And so sky's the limit on mods. Now, particularly, I have a 19 here, Gen 3, or at least it was, and the frame here has been modified where the finger grooves have been removed and the frame has been stippled to improve the grip because the texture on the stock grip wasn't that great, okay? So the frame has been modified. Now, second to that, the slide has been replaced for an aftermarket slide and barrel combination, primarily to support the mounting of the red dot. Now, as a byproduct, this particular slide and barrel combination, and I'll go ahead and send the slide forward, is a ported slide with a fluted barrel. And the barrel itself, having that flute in there, actually helps out with the recoil because it shoots really, really flat, right? And getting that muzzle flip reduced, I mean, not that there's that much muzzle flip, really, let's be honest, but just having it shoot and barely move is always fun, right? So that's a second byproduct to this whole slide barrel combination. And then we have the trigger. Right here we have a Timney trigger mounted on this one. And the trigger system on this one is so much better than the stock one. This has a 3-pound trigger press on that one. So overall, you're looking at about 3.5 pounds-ish on that. But the reset is right there. It's really, really crisp on that. Whereas you're going to feel a lot of mush on that trigger as you're going from its resting state into the wall. You're going to get some friction. On this one, there's almost no friction here. I mean, it just wants to go to the wall, and you're right there. Whereas this one, you have to do some work to get there. So that's another thing with regards to modifications. Now, you can also go as to modifying stock springs, internals, and things like that to help you out. I know Apex makes a really, really, really good modified safety plunger, rounded out, so that way when the trigger bar interacts with that safety plunger, it's just really, really smooth, and you're not going to get any friction or any resistance when you're going from its resting state to the wall. So mods on here, it makes this gun a lot better than, say, the stock. Now, the beauty of it is this is just tailored to my particular preferences. Does that mean that this would be great for everyone? No. There's so many different combinations and things like that you can do to this to support whatever it is that you like. So as far as Glock Perfection goes, out of the box, I don't want to keep saying this, but not so much. But the potential, and that's the positive, the potential for modifications to your exact specifications on the Glocks is sky's the limit. And that is what is the perfection aspect of the Glock.
Yeah, we were talking about this when we found out that USCCA gives us SIG discounts, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so we found that out.
Too late.
We were talking about, hey, because I know you're building your SIG right now, your 320, and you were telling me, one of them, yeah. You're telling me that, hey, is there any aftermarket support for them or any aftermarket slide? Not in comparison to the actual original ones, right?
No.
And that's the reason for it. Glocks have been around so long, right? I don't know when the Gen 3 came out,
A while
but
ago.
for sure, like Gen 3s have been a while, been here for a while, and they're still the most popular pistol, right? Believe it or not, outside of California, people are still buying Gen 3s for the sole fact that you can modify the hell out of it, right? Versus like the Gen 5 version. So just some things to consider.
Yeah, absolutely. So overall, the Glock is a fantastic firearm for whatever use you might have. It's absolutely rugged. You put it to the test, it will work. And it's a great, great platform. It also has the benefit of pursuit of perfection with regards to those modifications to make it perfect for you. So that's a little bit about the Glock and the mods and how Glock Perfection works.
Well, Ernie, I just found out that most of the people watching this are not subscribed.
What?
Nope.
What are you talking about?
Didn't press the button or
What?
nothing.
That's
Yep.
crazy. We drop a video every Tuesday. Oh my God. What are you?
Really, guys, so hit the like button.